Done, sir. I have made you the host. You can take over.
Yeah, thank you. Guys, let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we will start the session.
आ रहा
All right, guys, let's continue. So I welcome you all to the demo session of Azure Master Program, which is your 500 and 700. Okay. So this is your trainer. I have around 9 years of experience in IT, right? So right now I'm working as a senior cloud operations, right? Where actually I used to work on security as well as the cloud operations. Okay. So majorly I have hands-on experience on Azure, and since last 5 years I have been teaching in networkings. So I have hands-on experience on multiple technologies like MCSA, and then Intunes, then Office 365, then Azure 104, 500, 700. Okay. And I'm also certified in all these technologies. I have a global certification in all these technologies. So this is a brief introduction about myself, right? And so once we will start our daily sessions over there also, I will keep helping you out with the things that how companies are working in real time, right? And how the things are getting implemented in the organizations, right? So I'll be helping you out with the real time scenarios. Okay. So in this master program, right? So it is specifically for 500 and 700. So 500 is totally the security, right? So obviously, whenever you are configuring any of the service, any of the IT service, or even in general also, right? If you're talking about one building, right? That building needs a security guard so that he can monitor who can enter into the building and who cannot, who is going to have the access of what level, right? So everything is being monitored and everything is being managed by the security guards, right? So same way, whenever you are going to work in cloud, you are also going to be a security guard for cloud, right? That how you are going to manage your portal, how you are going to manage the access of the users, how you can make sure that no one will be able to enter into your cloud network. So these all things will be covering in this 500 security module. And we are going to strictly follow the syllabus that is provided by the Microsoft. Okay. So if I'll try to access, so it is, you can also access it, guys. Okay. So the link is in your chat. If you want to access the study guide, right? So it is publicly available from the Microsoft itself, right? And you will be able to get that what and all things comes under 500 what and all things comes under 104 and then 700 and whatever like Microsoft exams you want to go with, right? So here you can see 500, 700, 800, 801, 900, right? So all these study guide you will be able to take it from here, right? It is going to help you out that what and all topics would be there in that particular module. So specifically for 500, right? We will gonna start with the identity and access management, how you will be able to secure your identities. Now what is identity? Identities are going to be the users. Okay, so if I'll go, let me draw a diagram, right? Now let's say I build a infrastructure. So this is, for example, this is the Azure region. Acha, if you are going with 500 and 700, right? So I'm assuming that you have the knowledge of Azure, or that you have the knowledge of either 900 or 104. Because see, if you're going to have the knowledge of all these stuff, then only you will be able to understand 500 and 700. Because 104 and 900 is the basic one. Over there, you will be able to get that what and all services are being provided by the Microsoft. Okay. So this is going to be the data center. For example, I configured one resource group in Central India. So let's say this is the physical data center which is available in Central India, right? And in this region, what I did, I configured multiple resource groups. And under these resource groups, I have added multiple resources. Resources can be virtual machines. It can be either Windows or it can be the Linux. It can be storage accounts. It can be database. Or it can be any of the service guys which can be configured in Azure. Right? So let's say in the Central India region, I configured these much resources into multiple resource groups. And now I want to control the access. Identities are users. Whatever users you are going to have in your Azure AD or basically Entra ID, right? So from Entra ID itself, I want to manage the access of the users. So users can be multiples, okay? Let's say this is user 1, 2, 3, and there would be multiple users. Now, I want to give them the access on these resources. Secured access to these resources. I want this user can only manage my resource group 1. Only this resource group he will be able to manage. Other resource group he will not be able to even see. Account is going to be single, right? Subscription is going to be remain single. Obviously, in order to create your Azure portal, your Azure account, guys, you will be needing one active subscription. So under this single subscription, we can have multiple resource groups. But I want that this user will be able to manage only this resource group from this subscription. That I can control from the identity and access management. I can make sure that he will be able to manage this resource group only. Apart from this, I can give multiple permissions also to this user, that in this resource group, he can create the virtual machines, or he can delete the virtual machine, or he can just read the things. Apart from that, he will not be able to make the changes inside this resource group. That can be controlled through IAM, Identity Access Management. So this thing we'll see under our first module, which is identity access. Under that, there would be multiple things. I want he will be able to manage this resource group for 1 month only. After that, automatically his access would be revoked. It can also be managed. We can do that. Apart from that, this user will be able to manage this resource group from India only. If let's say he's traveling to any other country, he will not be able to even log in on the portal. I can put the conditional access policies. I can put the condition for this user. Likewise, there would be multiple things under securing your identities that we'll be covering in our first module. So if I'll go back to the Azure portal, now identities are what? Identities are users. So to manage their access, we can use identity access management. You can give the administrator level access also to these users, that they will be having the full control on the whole subscription. If let's say this user is going to have the full control on this subscription, he will be able to manage all the resources inside this subscription. That is subscription level access we can grant to the user. All right. So if I'll go back, so first of all, manage Azure built-in role assignment. There will be multiple built-in roles are there that can be applied for the users. And based on that, user will be able to make the changes on your portal or on your services. Then custom roles. These are the built-in roles, but you can make your own roles also. You can define your own conditions also. Right? Like you want a particular user will be able to manage your Entra ID, your Azure AD. You want to make them a global administrator or global reader. So there would be multiple types of roles would be there. So in that case, the user will only be able to manage your Entra ID. Rest of the things he will not be able to. Okay. Then plan manages your resources. Privileged identity PIM. Privileged identity management. These are the major things I see. The weightage of this module is 15 to 20%. Means if you want to crack the exam, right, the weightage would be 20%. Secure identity and access, it is going to be 15 to 20%. Secure networking, it is going to be 20 to 25%. Secure compute, storage and databases, 20 to 25%. And then Microsoft Defender for Cloud or Microsoft Sentinel, it would be 30 to 35%. So we have to cover the topic in such a way that you will be able to get the real-time exposure on the topics, as well as you will be able to crack the exam. So this way we are going to proceed with this whole module. Okay. So this is your identity and access management. Under this, you have manage Microsoft Entra application access, right? Like you're using SSO, single sign-on. You might be having multiple applications in your organization. It can be like Jira, right? It can be Microsoft 365, Office 365. It can be ADP. It can be Workday. Okay, multiple companies are using third-party applications, but you can log in into that third-party applications with your company's email account. So how it is getting done? That is all because of single sign-on feature is available in Entra ID. Through that only you are able to access those applications. Now, how to register those applications? that we will see in this topic. How to configure the app's registration, how to give the permission scopes, consent, multiple things would be there in this Microsoft Entra application access, right? Then you have networking, secure networking. Obviously, you have to make sure that your network should be secured. If let's say your virtual machines are running with any public IP, that means it would be available for everyone, right? But I want to put some condition that only it should allow the request from a particular port, or it should allow a request from a particular public IP. We can do that by either configuring the network security groups, NSGs, or we can configure firewall. Under firewall also you can define the same thing. So by default, guys, whenever you use to create a virtual machine in Azure, either it would be Windows or Linux, by default it would be having internet connectivity. Why? Because those machines are connected with the system defined routes. But you want to block the internet because see, in production environment, whenever you are going to make a production environment, okay, 99% in 99% cases you are going to disable internet connectivity on your VMs, right? So how to disable that internet? So we can do it through the firewall. There is a native firewall, Azure firewall can be configured, and through that you can block the internet connectivity of your virtual machines by defining the user defined routes. System defined route is basically managed by the Microsoft, right? But once you are going to define or once you are going to create a user defined route, so you will be controlling it. You are going to define it that how the traffic is going to flow. Okay, so how to implement these things, that we will see in this uh, securing network topic, right? You will be see the example, plan and implement user defined routes, UDRs. The same thing you can see here, right? Then plan and implement network security groups, NSGs. Same way we have ASGs also, application security groups, right? So we will see how it can be implemented. Then you have VPN, guys. If let's say you're working from home, right? Earlier, if you're talking about your on-prem data center, right? Whenever you used to work from home, in order to connect your office network, you have to first of all connect the VPN on your device. Then only you will be able to enter into it. Same way in Azure also, you want to make sure the traffic should be encrypted between your network and between your infrastructure network, which is configured on Azure. You want to make an encryption of your network, right? Then you can configure the VPN. VPN can be point to site VPN or site to site VPN. These two types of VPNs can be configured in order to make your connectivity encrypted, because VPN used to add a tunnel, right? Which will make your connection secured. Okay, so how to define it, how to configure it, that we will see in this topic. All right, so you can see secure VPN connectivity including point to site and site to site VPN. Then guys, express route. Now there is one more thing. If you are configuring the VPN service, then always it is going to be on a internet network. It is always needed a internet connectivity on a device. Means if let's say I want to enter into my office network, you can assume this way. So let's say this is my Azure network, okay, and this is my laptop. Or let me draw a new one.
Sorry to interrupt.
Virtual. Yep.
Satish here.
Yes.
So you said we have a site-to-site VPNs and
Point to site.
point-to-site VPN as well. So
Correct.
there troubleshooting also is there, or means let's say some site been down and in between ever this situation can you faced?
Yeah, obviously, this is what I mentioned, right? So based
Okay,
on the real
troubleshooting also there.
experience,
Okay,
exactly. So whatever things I have faced in my career, right, or in my current job, right? So obviously, I'll be explaining that those all things.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now, guys, this is the virtual network, VNet, right? In Azure, you have to create a virtual network, right? And inside this virtual network, let's say I have some virtual machines. So this is the part of this VNet. And let's say this VNet is running with the address space of 192.168.0.0/16. This is my address space, right? And these VMs are in subnet 192.168.1.0 subnet. 192.168.1.0/24. So in this subnet, these VMs are running. So I want to make sure that if I want to connect these virtual machine, acha, in case of production environment, right? Again, in 99% cases, guys, you are not going to assign public IP to these VMs. Then how you will be able to connect these virtual machines? Can anyone help me out? What and all things can be configured? If I want to take these systems on remote, I want to send a RDP request to these VMs. So what and all options I can use? Anyone?
We can do SSH via PuTTY.
SSH, okay. But what IP I'll do SSH?
Correct. Or the VM will get one changed IP, means let's say it is as you said, it is not a public IP. One dedicated IP been assigned while you're running the VPN. We'll take that IP. Let's say 4.1.3 dot something is there. We'll put that IP over the PuTTY and get it connect.
That is all because first of all, I have to configure VPN service,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Then only
Correct.
I can enter into it.
Correct.
So I will dial up this VPN, right? This VPN is going to be connected with this subnet, and then whichsoever machine is going to be inside this subnet, I will be able to connect it through my laptop. So if I want to make sure that this network, this connectivity should be encrypted, then I will use VPN service. Along with it, I will be needing internet also on this laptop. Then only I can uh, dial this connection, the VPN connection. This is in case of VPNs. But Microsoft gives you one more option, which is called Express Route. In case of Express Route, you will be getting one private connection from your office to the Azure network. Now, let's say this is your office. So inside this office might be you will be having any router or any firewall would be there. Or this firewall would be having any public IP, right? Then you will get a private connection between this machine, a dedicated connection between your office network and your cloud network. In this case, you will be needing help from ISP. Internet service provider is going to set up this connection. They have already configured their devices into the Azure data centers. The thing is, you just need to take help from them. They will set up their devices in your office and they will make a dedicated lease line, basically a private line between your office and this Azure network. There would be multiple concepts in this express route. There would be meet me point, multiple things would be there. I will be explaining it in the topic itself. But for now, in order to understand it, so there would be a dedicated bandwidth you will get, and there would be a dedicated private line you will get between your office and your Azure network. It is not going to be over the shared network. It is always going to be a private line, which is not going to be shared with anyone. That is the most reliable scenario which we can go with. But yes, costly also. Because based on bandwidth you are taking or based on the devices you are configuring, so this ISP is going to charge you. Along with ISP, yes, Microsoft also will charge, but ISP will also charge you. Okay, so this is express route, so that you can get a private connectivity. So this we will discuss. Implement encryption over express route. Then firewall, guys.
Sorry, in express route,
Yeah.
whether we connect bunch of users or let's say any
No,
specific
there would be a
for example,
connectivity with gateway to gateway.
okay, for example, any project is there and there's 100 users are setting for the specific project, and they're
Huh.
dedicatedly giving service to the gmail.com, for
Right.
example. Okay.
Okay.
So they are serving gmail.com, and we
Huh.
do have an express route that has been set up from my office towards that Gmail server, and that bunch of server, that bunch of users that is being connected over the Gmail. Those are giving the services to the Gmail. This express route serves all this bunch of 100 users, or single user will configure over the express route.
No. It would be over the gateway from where it is getting the request. From where it
Okay.
is originating the request.
Okay, it means we'll have to assign one gateway for those 100 users,
Exactly.
and from that gateway we'll connect Gmail.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that whenever a user is going to send the request from that particular gateway, then it should accept it, else deny.
Okay, in between firewall also came in between.
Exactly. It can be there. If you want, it can be there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Then guys, we'll talk about the firewall. Okay. How the firewall rules can be configured, how the firewall can be implemented, right? How you can configure a DNAT, how you can configure SNAT, right? How you can block the internet, how you can whitelist a particular URL from your network, right? So all those things we can implement in the firewall. Okay, and we will be discussing the native firewall, which is Azure firewall. But if let's say you have the experience on any other FortiGate or Palo Alto, you can configure those firewall also with your network. Okay, but our focus is to cover Azure firewall. Okay, then this is your networking. Then you have storage and database. Acha, we will be having this web application firewall also, CDN profiles, front door, including content delivery and all. So everything would be there. Okay, so plan, implement, manage and Azure firewall, including Azure file manager and firewall policies, right? So everything would be there. We will discuss it practically. Okay, wherever the theories.
Okay, here for the web application firewall, there is some concept, HTTP certificate we supposed to be,
correct.
CS certificate we
Correct.
supposed to be validated, and then we'll upload it for the, let's say for FI, one node is there, we'll install that certificate. That point, when we'll go to the web application firewall, can you just give a small idea on that part where where the web application firewall helps backend to upload the certificate, that CS certificate for the specific load balancer server? Just
exactly.
at that moment, yes, just
Yeah,
okay.
sure. No worries.
Okay.
All right, guys. Then we have secure compute, storage, and databases, right? As I mentioned that in Azure, okay, there would be multiple type of storages that can be configured, right? It can be a blob storage, it can be a file shares, right? Or it can be tables, and it can be queues. Okay, so how to secure those services? How to give the access of a blob using connection string? where actually you can define multiple parameters that this connection string can only be connected through a particular public IP only, or it can be connected for 5 to 10 minutes only. So once the user is going to connect with your storage, the connection is going to be for 10 minutes only. After that, it would be disconnected automatically. Right? So these multiple things can be defined under the connection string to make your storage or to make your storage services secured. Okay. And whatever the data is going to be inside your storage account, right? That data should be encrypted. Like you're using BitLocker, right? In your laptops. So that whatever data would be there, it would be encrypted. So in case anybody will get the access of your hard disk and all, they will not be able to read the data of that drive. Why? Because it is encrypted through BitLocker. So same way, Microsoft has the option to either use Microsoft Managed Key, MMK, or you can use CMK also, Customer Managed Key, in order to encrypt the data of your storage. Both are reliable. Don't think if you are going with Microsoft Managed Key, the others will be able to get access of your data. No, it is going to be secured. But let's say you don't want to rely on Microsoft. You want to create your own keys. So in that case, we can use Customer Managed Key option to secure our data. And that key, we are going to have it. And that key can be stored in your key vault, which can be configured in Azure again. Security key vault. Okay. So we will see how it can be done. Then securing your Kubernetes clusters and all that we will see. Then see, this is what I was mentioning, configuring disk encryption, including Azure disk encryption at the host and confidential disk encryption. Okay, so we'll see how it can be encrypted and how it can be, the data can be decrypted. Manage storage account access keys. This is what I was mentioning about storage strings, guys, right? Where actually you can define some parameters, you can define some conditions to make the access of your storage secured. All right. Then this is files and blobs and all. Okay. Bring your own key, right? I was mentioning customer managed key or Microsoft managed key. So customer managed key is BYOK only. Bring your own key. All right. Then securing your database, right? Dynamic masking and implement transparent data encryption, TDE. Okay. So this is related to your databases, which you are going to configure in Azure. And then the last but not the least, your Defender for Cloud, where actually you will see the Azure Key Vault, right? You are going to create some policies, Azure policies for your accounts, for your portal, for your resource groups, for your resources. Then manage certificate secrets and keys. So you are going to keep your certificate somewhere. You are going to keep your secrets and keys somewhere. So how you are going to manage this? How you are going to store them? For that, we have to obviously create a key vault, and under that we can do this. Because see, if you are going to keep it in your local machines, and somehow you got your system got corrupted, or somehow your system there is some issue with your operating system, right? Then how we will be able to use the keys, or how you will be able to use the certificates? So it can be stored in the portal itself, so that Microsoft is going to take care of all those things. Right. Then there would be one or more option, which is key rotation. Let's say you have configured one key for your storage, and that key is valid for 1 month. So what you will do, you will define a policy that that key is going to be applicable for 1 month, and automatically after 1 month, there is a key rotation. A new key would be implemented with your storage. Because obviously you can't keep it constant. Let's say someone will get the key access, the key string someone will get, and you are not defining the key rotation and all, the person will be able to get access of your data. It is hypothetically I'm saying, but it can be the scenario, right? So how that key rotation can be configured? So that automatically the key rotation will happen in every 10 days, 15 days. That is in your hand. What you want to configure. You want to configure it within 2 days. That is also fine. You can do that also. All right. Then backups. Backups, how you can protect your backups. Okay. How you can recover the things using the backups. How you can restore the backups. Either it would be any virtual machine, it would be any database, it would be any file shares, right? We can recover it. And we'll see it practically how it is going to do. Shivani, can you please mute yourself?
So in a first scenario,
Yeah.
before this, the up one, sorry, can you just scroll up?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Here in auditing, so you said something Azure.
Encryption.
I have no. I just mentioned there, like we can manage MFA also there in
Multi-factor authentication. Yeah.
yes. In the upward, I thought forgot. I believe
It would be under identities.
no.
Security.
In below only. Just scroll down, just where we are
Here you
there.
can implement multi-factor.
Yes, MFA is there, but
Yeah.
the early topic, before
Okay.
this
Okay.
topic, we discussed.
So it is
Scroll down.
firewall. We talked about networking and all.
Scroll down. Scroll down.
Uh-huh.
Scroll down. Okay. Application, that is also ACI, Azure
Maybe
container.
storage.
In a storage, in a storage itself.
Uh-huh.
We using MFA there.
MFA is at identity level. It is not at storage level.
Okay.
That would be strings can be configured with your storage, where actually you can define the conditions
Okay.
that it should accept the request from the particular IP, right? The connection is going to be valid for 1 hour, right? The user will be able to only read the data. He will not be able to manipulate the data. That whole kind of conditions can be defined in the strings.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And MFA, it is at identity level, at user level.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. And yes, we will discuss MFA as well. Okay. It would be the part of identity and access. And it is very major thing nowadays, right? How we can skip it.
It's my own experience in my current project. Because of MFA, we lost some data.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have not implemented it, huh?
It is been implemented. I don't know what happened in over there.
Okay.
But later on, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, sure. All right, guys. So this would be your defender topic, right? Your key vaults, key rotation and all, right?
Key vault under key vault only, I'm asking the MFA, whether we are using it.
No, key vault, MFA doesn't need key vault actually.
Okay.
Key vault is only to store your secrets, your certificates or your keys, your public and private keys.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this would be your defender, guys, right? The security posture management, right? Like if let's say you are creating a new project, right? So in order to create that project, what and all security measures you are going to take, right? So it would be more of the theoretical topic, okay? But wherever it is needed to be implemented or it is needed to be done practical, so definitely we will see that how it can be practically implemented. All right. Then defender, then this the monitoring alerts and monitoring, guys. Obviously, it is also needed. Okay. So this monitorings can be configured using your Microsoft Sentinel. Okay. So this we will see. And this is going to be the whole module, guys, which is your 500. And mostly around 90% things are going to be practical based, and 10% of the things where actually it is it is not possible for us to configure the things. Only those are going to be on the theory basis, like express route. Express route, I will design, I will create, but to see it practically, it is not possible because ISP will comes into the picture, and which is not possible for a home environment to set up all these things. Okay, but how it is going to be implemented, I will explain it in the form of diagram, as well as we will create the things also, right? But I think it can be implemented 90%. The 10% case, we will be needing help from ISP, and which is not possible for me to take, because obviously there would be a huge charge that they will going to ask. So that is only the things which is not possible to perform, and else whatever the things, it would be totally on the practical basis, right? So these are the 500 topics. So I'll be providing you all the study materials, okay, the whole book for 500, the study notes also, right, and the interview questions also, which can help you out to crack the interview. And for exams point of view also, I will help you out with all the aspects. Okay, if you want dumps, that also I can help you out. That is not an issue for us. So at the end of this course, you'll be getting all these things from my end. So it is related to 500. Same way, whatever the topics would be there in 700. So we will be covering those topics thoroughly, right? Like you have design and implement core network infrastructure. In order to start a project, right? How you're going to design your networking, how you can make sure that it is going to be secured, how subnets you are going to design, how VNets you are going to design, right? Static IPs, public IPs. So everything would be there in this 700. Okay, so you can see plan and implement network segmentation and address spaces. Address spaces is basically kind of scope that you used to create earlier in DHCP, right? For DHCP server. So same way, in case of Azure, if you want to assign the IPs automatically, so first of all, we have to create an address space. From that address space, you are going to create multiple subnets, and those subnets you are going to connect with your virtual machines. Right? There would be two networks, for example. One is in US and one is in India. You want to set up a connectivity. There is one option of VNet peering that can be configured, in which Microsoft is going to take care of the connectivity. So whatever the things are needed on the back end, everything is managed by the Microsoft. You need not to worry about. But we have the other options also that customer can manage. Like we talked about this thing, your site-to-site VPN. Right? So we'll see that. Then create a virtual network, plan and configure subnetting for services including VNet gateways, private endpoint, service endpoint, firewalls. See guys, most of the things are already there in 500. Right? So if let's say we have already covered firewalls, application gateway, right? Azure Bastion already we covered in 500. So we are not going to cover it again in 700 because already we covered all these topics. So wherever there is a requirement to discuss the things that we will discuss. But if we have already covered, because see, it is going to be remain same, right? Firewalls are going to remain same. VPN gateways are going to remain same. VPN types are going to remain same. Then why to discuss again and again, right? If it would be needing, I don't have any issue to explain it again. I don't have any issue to design it again. But just to save our time, we will skip these topics if we have already discussed these things in 500. All right. Then plan and configure subnet delegation. Then configure shared or dedicated subnet. prefix public IP addresses, right? When to use a public IP address suffix, plan implementing custom public IP address, okay? Or bring your own IP. If let's say you have already have a public IP, right? So you can implement your own public IPs also in Azure network, right? Associate public IP addresses to resources, then upgrade IP addresses SKU. So SKU depends, right? That it depends that which SKU you are choosing. Okay, you are going to get high bandwidth in case you are going with the higher SKU. Okay, so that we'll see how it is going to work. Then DNS, guys, name resolution. Okay, so in Azure again, either DNS are going to be system defined, which is Azure defined, or you can create your own DNS and you can create user defined DNS also, right? Zones, primary zone, your forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zones, how it is going to work, how it is going to resolve the queries, right? How to add your custom domain. Let's say you are already the owner of a domain which you purchase from GoDaddy or any of the vendor, right? So how to map it with your portal, right? That we will see in this whole DNS thing. Okay. Then VNet connectivity and routing, how the two virtual networks will be able to talk to each other, or how the routings comes into the picture, how the route tables you are going to define, how the traffic is going to flow. So that all things you are going to define in your route table itself, right? Then how to do this thing, how to associate with our subnet. I mean to say how to associate our route table to our subnet, that we will see in this topic. Then monitor networking. Okay. Then design and implement. This is again site to site VPN connection. Now, obviously, if we have covered this thing in firewall, then sorry, in 500, then why to do it in 700 again? But yes, wherever it is needed, I'll be explaining it. Okay. Then again, a point to site VPN connection. You have express route and Azure virtual WAN, wide area network architecture. I was mentioning about meet me point and all, right? How in Microsoft data center networking is configured, right? That we will discuss. Guys, please don't unmute yourself if you don't have any query. All right. So then we have application delivery services. Okay, load means your load balancers, public load balancer, private load balancers. Okay, your Azure traffic manager, DNS based load balancers. Okay, so all those things we'll be discussing here. The NAT rules, inbound NAT rules, and all it would be there. And then this is your application gateway. Okay.
In load balancing, whether
Yeah.
again we'll discuss those round robin methods and all in here.
Yes, there would be that options. Yes, we will be discussing and we'll be covering it practically.
Oh, okay.
Okay, round robin would be there, and then priority based also would be there. Okay, then geographical based would be there.
Yes.
Right. Let's say the request is coming from India, then VM1 should respond, right? If the request is coming from US, then VM2 should respond.
Okay.
So yes, we'll do that. Okay, practically we'll perform it. Yeah, it is basically the comes under your traffic manager. Okay. Front door SSL, features of Azure front door. Okay, appropriate tier, choose traffic acceleration, implement rules, rewrite the rules. Okay,
This
that
route
will be
again,
discussed.
this route rules and HTTP also again will do, or
Yes, we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah. See, as I mentioned, 90% things we are going to do practically. Okay, things we will not. I will mention in the classes itself, or as I mentioned, this express route is not possible to perform. Okay, but I do believe rest of the things we will be able to do it practically.
Express route, it means there is backend SD-WAN involvement is there. So express
ISPs,
yeah,
ISP integration
ISPs.
is needed.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct. It won't be possible.
exactly. But how to create a express route, how to add a circuit? Because see, if you want to create an express route, you have to create a circuit also. Under circuit, you are going to define that who is going to be your service provider,
Yes, yes. Till
right?
ISP we can do, right?
Exactly. Okay, but at the second end, we will not be able to do. Okay, means 90% lab we will be able to perform for express route. Okay, yeah. Then private access for your Azure resources. Okay, then implement and service endpoints, again, when to use a service endpoint. Okay, then you have, please don't annotate. Yeah, then again NSG comes into the picture, network security groups, application security groups, how the network security group can be implemented on a whole subnet, or it can be implemented on a particular NIC card. Okay, that we will see in this. Same way, application security groups also can be created. Okay, build it NSG flow rules. You are going to define the NSG is again a internal firewall, though it is not going to have the full options that you will get under the firewall, but still you can control the traffic, inbound and outbound traffic, under your network security groups. Okay, so how to implement it, how to do it, that we'll see in this. And web application firewall, again, it was there in 500 also, so we'll see that. Yes, so this is all about, guys, 500 and 700. Okay, which will take almost, if we are going with weekdays, okay, so almost it will take 2.5 or 3 months to cover all the topics of 500 and 700. And again, for 700 as well, I have the book. Okay, the study notes and all, and scenario based interview questions also. Okay, so I'll be sharing you all the things. Once we'll have our first class, I will create a private group for you all, so that you will be able to get all the study materials. You can join that group, and from that you will be able to get study materials, and we can start discussing our topic afterwards. Now, any doubt, any question for me?
So from when this batch is going to start?
Sandesh, probably it is going to be from Wednesday or Thursday,
Okay, okay.
or it might be from next Monday also.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, the
Okay.
team will let you know how it is going to be.
Okay.
Yes, Saitya sir, Gaurav here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gaurav.
so guys, the session will be most probably going to start from the next week, okay, Monday. And this is the first workshop that we have conducted today. So we will be keeping you updated regarding to the like the Zoom IDs and everything. So all these things will be added in your portal itself.
That's great. And see, guys, 500 link I have already shared in the chat. Same way I'm giving you the 700 link also. So if you want to just go through with the topics, right, you can go through with this link. And as I mentioned, I have the book itself for 500 and 700 both. Okay, so along with this, you can go through with the book as well, wherever where actually you will find the labs also. Okay, or you will get some assignments also in the book, and it will help you out to get a real-time exposure on the things which can be configured in Azure.
So are you going to cover the AI part also, like artificial
No,
intelligence
no,
co-pilots?
no. Copilot, it is not there, right? Copilot is not the part of 500 or 700 both. Okay. And yes, whosoever is coming into this batch, I would request, guys, please, either you should get the knowledge of 104, because see, um, all the things are correlated with 104. If you don't have the knowledge of it, don't go for 500 or 700 direct, to be very honest. Because it's a master program, right? I'll be not covering the things from scratch. I'm assuming that you have already the knowledge of 104. So from that point itself, I will start delivering my lectures. So I would request you to please either get the knowledge of 104, or you should learn 104 first, and then you should go for 500 or 700. So this would be a humble request to just go through with all the things. Anything else I can help you with? All right, then let's wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining the session. So I'll see you in the next class, guys. Thank you everyone. Good night. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.